Welcome to the Heartification podcast, where I interview people on how art has affected their lives and what it means to them. Art has a very special place in my life. It not only makes me feel happy, but it allows me to make others feel special. This podcast is all about how art has made an impact on others' lives, for all ages, all backgrounds, and all walks of life. You can find more about this podcast guest in my show notes. Without further ado, let's welcome my next guest. She is a business coach, author, and the creator of Boom You. Please welcome my next guest, Jill McAbe.
Thank you very much. I'm so glad to be here.
So the first question I always ask is, how do you define art?
I was thinking about that, and I was thinking I define art as sort of the manifestation or the creation of creativity, the expression or creation of creativity.
Yeah, I like that. And it can also help people express themselves, even if they can't express themselves in other ways. Art's always there to just let your inner self out.
No rules. That's what's so beautiful about it, right? There's rules everywhere. And, well, some people would say there's rules in art, but maybe I don't think there are.
Yeah, definitely. Art's just like a free thing. Anybody can do whatever they want. And what art forms are you exposed to?
Well, I actually went to a school for performing art when I was younger. So I wasn't a very good, I struggled with academics because I'm dyslexic. So I ended up going to a school for performing arts, and I started in singing, and I played the trombone, and I played the piano and the clarinet, and then I went into theater. And then through that, I had a lot of friends who were in visual arts. So I had a lot of painters and photographers. So I like lots, I guess, going to a school for performing arts, but like dancers, I was just surrounded by artists.
Oh, that's amazing. And art can help people through the difficult times in their lives. And as a child, you had dyslexia and ADHD. So did art ever help you get through school at all?
Oh, yeah. I mean, art, it was so nice when I wasn't a very good academic to have an environment, not everywhere, but an environment, because I went to an art school, they actually had a lot of rules around art. But to some degree, it was a place where I could thrive. And it was a place where my creativity was not by everybody, not by everybody in school, because I'm thinking about something, but it was a place where my creativity in certain cases was like really celebrated, and the differences in the way I did things were like, yay, instead of like, that's not right.
Yeah, that's amazing. And did art ever help you get through the injuries of your car accident?
Art did not help me get through my car accident, but it did help me come back to a more complete way of living. After my car accident, I got really focused on work because I lost everything, and I was too old to lose everything. I couldn't care. I was really worried about what was going to happen for myself. So I started to work, and I just became somebody who worked too much. And I didn't have art in my life to create, because if you bring art into your life, you're actually better at work. You can have a better job. Like, everything can be better. So I took up drawing, and that really it helped me find peaceful moments. And I loved it. I love it. Actually, I still draw sometimes.
Yeah, and that's what art can do. It can help just calm yourself and just take away all the stress. And do you feel that you were able to express yourself more now that you have found the right career?
Definitely. I think that it can be really difficult when you're feeling like your career is like not the right career for you, and you're like, oh, what do I want to do? And I searched with that for a long time. And not only did I do that for myself, but that's actually what I do for other people who have not quite made their career work or their business work. I help make that happen. I can say that across the board, when that happens, there's a sense of peace. And that sense of peace actually allows you to get more creative. And that's kind of cool too.
Yeah, it's amazing. And are you attracted to any particular art form?
I have a lot of statues in my house, So I'm looking at a wild boar over there. I have like statues on, like big statues. Like I remember when my nephew was first born, he was like 2, he'd be like, oh my God, that's like really scary. Like, what do you have? And they're beautiful, like a lot of animals. I guess I really like sculpture. I really like sculpture of animals. I really love, yeah, like there's several on my desk actually. I've got, I guess I like Inuit because I'm now looking at an Inuit bird, and I have a dancing bear. So yes, I have African statues downstairs of like lions and wild African. Yeah, I love statues. When people move me, I have very little stuff. So at one point in my life, I had kind of thought I had too much stuff. I had a successful restaurant and I sold it. And then I thought, I don't like stuff anymore. So I gave away everything that I'd owned, all my furniture, everything that I had put it on my front porch, and like literally was like letting people in Toronto take it. And then I kept a few things, like a few like, okay, this is important. And I put those things into storage, and I decided to go traveling for a year. And I was off traveling. I was driving to Mexico from Canada, and I got a call and they said, Jill, your storage has been robbed. And I was like, oh my God, like the few things that I kept, I put in storage. They're like, yeah, they took everything but the art. And I was like, that's the only thing I cared about. I have a,
Oh,
and so I was like, yay, they left the art, those dummies, because I got this incredible painting that's like heavy as anything on a door that I hauled back from Argentina. It's huge. I was like, thank God they didn't take that. It's the only thing I cared about was my art.
yeah, that's really cool. And are you attracted to any particular artist?
No, I really like, no, not, I'm not a single person. Mm-mm.
Yeah, you just like all types of artists.
I like, so one of the things that I've always enjoyed, and I is a real practice that I took from being in an art school, was that art is about individual relationship. So it's about your relationship with a thing. And so it doesn't matter if art critics say it's good. It doesn't matter if they say it's bad. If you look at something and I have very sensory inputs, and so if I look at something, I literally just feel it if I like it. I don't need someone to tell me if that's good. It doesn't matter. It's just like, did I enjoy it? Did I not enjoy it? I can not enjoy something the critics say is fantastic, and I can, you know, I can love something the critics say is terrible, or I can agree with the critics. It doesn't matter. It's completely just about, do I find this fascinating? Do I find it interesting? Does it make me think? What does it make me think about?
Yeah, definitely. Like everyone's unique and everyone will connect with different things. So not one person has to like the same thing as someone else. Everyone's unique. And I think that's the really cool thing about art is when you paint, everyone is different. Like when I had my pop-up event, like each and every single one painting was so beautiful and so different in their own way. And it was tied to their personality and their connection with different things, which I found really amazing.
So there you go. And I would agree with you. And so for me to pick one artist that I like above all others, I can't do it.
Yeah. And so my heartification project is all about giving back to the community, specifically to those with disabilities and illnesses. So how do you give back to the community?
There's quite a few ways that I give back. And I've had quite a bit of disability in my own family. I have a sister who struggles with mental illness, and I had a father who struggled with mental illness. So those types of causes are important to me. Also, causes like food banks are very dear to my heart. I find that just having nutritious food is very important. So I support many causes of my friends and family, but those are the causes that I really like. And then I also like to support, because I'm an entrepreneur, I like to support entrepreneurship. I really enjoy Kiva. It's a platform that allows me to get to know somebody's story and invest in what's going on for them. And oftentimes the disability in that case would be their economic situation. Not and giving them the opportunities that might allow them to care for themselves. So I have a lot of fun supporting that.
Wow, that's really cool. And so in your coaching business, you talk about people finding their purpose. So how is that tied to creativity?
Oh, I wrote about it recently. So what happens is this. It's actually it's this chain reaction. First of all, it's getting to know your purpose. So I think what happens to a lot of people by the time I work with them when they're sort of like in their 40s and 50s is that over the course of their lives, they've heard all these rules about how things are supposed to go. And in some cases, lose their trust of their own creative instincts. So they have these creative instincts when they're young, and it's like they're just so awesome when they're young. And then over time, it just feels like it's not the right fit, or it's not socially appropriate, or it's not the right thing to do, or it's not how the rules are. And they lose that. And then when you come in and connect to your purpose, and you realize, wow, this is my purpose. Then you feel like you're breaking the rules of the universe if you don't connect to your creativity, if you don't connect to who you're meant to be or how you're meant to be. And then that actually leads to it leads to them doing more of the right work, which actually leads to them getting more experience in their work, which actually leads to them becoming more skilled at what they do, which actually leads to them bringing more creative influences in the chain reaction goes on for years. They're like, not only does their business get better, but their creativity gets better and their abilities get bigger. And so their businesses like expand over like the next 3 years. It's just this exponential growth. And a lot of it comes from this faith in themselves that allows them to express their creativity, their inherent gifts.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to, just let yourself out, and you just have to believe in yourself. And, the world can be so judgmental. And like the world's always judging, society's always going to judge, but sometimes you just have to like let it all out and you'll just feel better.
Yeah. Do you get that at your age?
Um,
That society judge you?
Not that I've noticed yet, but probably once I age, I'm now going to high school soon. So I think in high school, like I'm not sure, I just think, but things are gonna get more judgmental and yeah, but art's always gonna be there for me if I just need to, let out my emotions and everything.
Well, I think you have very good systems around you, and I think you have very good beliefs and integrity, and that will help you stay true to yourself.
All right, so how would you like people to get in touch with you?
Well, I have a website. It's jillmcabe.com, JILLMCABE.com.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. Thank you so much for doing this.
Really appreciate and I'm honored to have appeared on your podcast. I love the work that you're doing. I'm excited about following your adventures. They're sure to be creative and wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Remember, if you want to find out more about this guest, please go to my show notes where I have all the links needed. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe to my podcast series and help me by sharing it, leaving a rating, and a comment. I hope you join me on my next podcast. Bye for now.